here we go with Madeira and the expansion for Madeira. So what you see here are all the components for Madeira, as well as most of the stuff that you're going to get in the expansion. So, as I said, I'm going to give a brief overview of how the game of Madeira works, talking about just the base game. Now, there are going to be a little bit of grace that I ask because we have expansion components available to us already out here on the board, but that said, here we go. So the goal of the game in Madeira is prestige points or victory points with the victory point tracker on the outside. Now, how you're going to acquire most of those victory points are going to be from these crown requests, or at the end of the odd rounds, we're going to be completing 1, 2, or 3 of the crown requests that we will acquire as the game goes along. Now, how we're going to be doing that is through each of the 5 rounds that Madeira takes place, there are 5 different phases in each round. The first phase, A, is going to be where we're going to be choosing turn order. So when you choose turn order, you're going to be choosing a set of dice in which to be able to take actions. You're going to choose one of the associated crown requests or victory point attaining goals. And in addition to that, you're going to be choosing which of the guild favors you're going to be able to turn face up, which color, as well as turn order. So it's 4 things that you're choosing when you choose one of these. The previous turn's turn order will dictate the order in which you choose them. That's phase A. In phase B, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using one of the 3 dice that we have chosen that we will have in front of us, along with and I'll show you over here, the markers that are associated with your player color. You're going to be placing them out here on one of the 5 characters out here, be it in region 1, in region 2, or in region 3. Each of those regions, 2 and 3, have 2 each, as you can see there. Region 1 has 1. So on your turn, you're going to place one of the dice out here on the character, as well as one of your markers out here to signify that you're the one that placed that die. You're then going to carry out one of 2 options. You can either harvest from an area up there, or you can take the main action that the character provides. One of those 2 are your options. In lieu of placing one of the dice that you have chosen, you can choose to place one of the pirate dice instead, which will go out here at a cost of one of your workers up here in the City Watch. In addition to that, you do not place one of your markers because nobody cares who placed the pirate die up there in the characters. And then you carry out either a harvest action like before or the main action of that character. That is phase B. Any questions in that? Good, we're moving on. In phase C, we are then going to activate the actual buildings which are printed here on the board in a predetermined order. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those will resolve based on the number of dice that are here. We're going to roll those dice, and because it's a 4-player game, we're going to have to pay some amount of money to be able to then take the action, and the strength of that action is going to be dictated upon the number of workers that you have out here in the region fields. So for these 2 buildings, you would have hopefully 1 or 3 workers out here to then allow you to take the lesser or greater action associated with that building. After we've resolved this building, we will move on to this building, then here, then here, then there. Important to note that if there is a pirate die in that location, that will be the cost if you choose or cannot pay for the action. You're going to get 1 plus the number of pirate dice that are showing on that die after it's been rolled. You're going to acquire that many pirates. Pirates are bad. They are going to cost you negative points at the end of the game. Important to note that acquiring pirates during the game is something you do want to do because you are not going to be able to take enough actions if you do not acquire pirates. The key is going to be removing those pirates by the end of the game. So that is phase C after we have activated all 5 of the buildings there. Phase D is essentially an upkeep. We're going to possibly score whoever has majority up here in the City Watch. Then we're going to get any resources for any workers that we may have up here in the colonies. Then we're going to have to pay 1 wood upkeep for any ships that we have either in the colonies or in the marketplaces. Everybody has a maximum of 6 ships available. Then, because apparently Nuno and Paulo are fans of Uwe Rosenberg, you do have upkeep for all of your workers that are out here on the board. Everybody has 12 workers. How many do you have in front of you? Whatever that number is, if you have 2, you start with 12. That means you have 10 workers out here. You would think if they were in the City Watch, the city would pay for them. Nope, not the case. Instead, you must pay 1 bread per worker. For every wood and bread that you cannot pay, or choose not to pay, hey, good news, pirates. You get more pirates. Then at the end of the first, the third, and the 5th rounds, we will complete 1, 2, or 3 crown requests. Whether you're ready to or not, you're going to complete them. The question is, how many points are you going to receive when you complete them? Everybody will have a total of 6 crown requests by the end of the game. They will start with 1 crown request. They will acquire a total of 5, 1 per round. So that means in round 1 you will complete 1. In round 3 you will complete 2. And in the 5th round you will complete the remaining 3 that you have left over for all 6. At the end of the 6th round, or the 5th round, whoever has the most victory points or prestige points wins the game. At the ends of round 2 and 4, we're going to possibly upgrade or transform some of these harvest areas into different types of harvest areas. In a nutshell, that's how you play Madeira. Any questions locally?
Nope. Nope.
All right, let's get into the expansion, shall we? The expansion has 4 modules. We're sick and we're going to be playing all 4 modules tonight. Module 1 is called A New Beginning. A New Beginning, welcome to Module 1. What this is we are going to be selecting 1 ship, 1 farming, 1 settlement, and 1 king tile. In order, in turn order. I will describe all of this when we actually do it in detail, when we actually do it. This is going to be an asymmetric start to your game. Amazing aspect and great implementation in all seriousness to the game. So this is module 1, drafting your asymmetric start. Okay? The second module is going to be called, well, it's the cards. So we have already drafted our cards to be able to expedite the game here. There is going to be 1 card per player that is passed out that is for the colonies. This is going to be the prerequisite, and this is going to be the bonus that we receive when we play these cards. The game takes place over 5 rounds. There are, as you can see here, 5 cards. So you're going to be playing, when you draft a die, you're going to be playing one of these cards into your tableau, and it's going to give you a prerequisite as well as a bonus in which we're going to try and shoot for a tactical goal that will help you over the course of that round. Every round will have a different card played. So this one has to do with the colonies. This one has to do with having some amount of workers, in my case 1 worker, in each of the 3 regions out there. This one has to do, I will have to have 3 workers in region 1 in order to be able to fulfill this or to do the action on that card. This one requires 3 workers in region 2, and this one requires 3 workers in region 3. And in any given round, I can play any of these 5 cards to then be able to do what the action is. We'll go over this in detail when we actually play our cards. But this is, in my opinion, the most intense of the 4 expansions, and probably the last expansion that you would want to include in your base game.
Is it out of the game after?
Yes, and Jess asked if you can't hear her whisper, when you play this card, you're going to have it for 1 round, and then it's discarded at the end of that round. There's one exception to the rule, which if and when it comes up, we'll talk about. So any questions other than the actual details of what the cards themselves do? Any questions on the actual use of these cards?
None. Nope.
All right, so that is the second module. The third module is, you know all those King's Request or King's Demands that you have in the base game? Yeah, throw them all out and put out 6 new ones. You might be asking yourself, well, why do I only see 5 per row? Well, the reason for that is the last thing that we're going to select with Module 1 is going to be our 6th King's Demand or King's Request. I like to think that he's more requesting, but you know, if you don't do well, you're not going to do well. So it's still a request. So the King's Demands, though, there's going to be 6 per player, as you can see. These are a little bit more difficult, a little bit more involved, and they will score you more points. The overwhelming majority of victory points are going to come from these crown requests, okay? There are 5 different groupings of crown requests, which we will go over those in detail as we draft them and as we select them. Any questions on those? So none of the base game crown requests are in the game. We are playing, it's either all the base ones or all the expansion ones. We're playing with the expansion ones. Any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. The last module is the new roles. Now, in the base game, without the Harvester little mini expansion, there are 4 characters out there, and then the current round one is blank. Well, with the new expansion, it comes with a different back on that one, and that is going to be the Harvester, which goes in wherever the current round is. All the others, just like in the base game, get shuffled up and changed up every round, so that's going to be random for where they are. In addition to the new roles, which I'll go over a little bit more in detail here momentarily, there are essentially 3 new aspects, really 5, but really 3 new aspects. One is the Corsair die, a pirate die plus. Then there is the pirate ship here, and, you know, because pirates are citizens too, the pirate citizen as well down here. Okay, then there are a couple of tiles over here, the protection tile and the dark guild tiles, because any of you astute viewers watching will notice that 2 of the guild favors rows are actually face down right now. That is not on accident. So first off, let's talk about the new characters. So the new characters work just like the old characters. You have the main action available, which is the exact same as it was in the base game, or a harvest action. So either of that. But you'll also notice that there are these bonus locations on them as well. Whenever you place a guild die out here and you are not harvesting, if you take a guild die and you harvest, you put it on the picture, you do not get one of the bonuses. However, if you are taking the main action, so in this place, placing 2 people out here on the fields, you then can place on any available space out there, and either before you take the action or after you take the action, take whatever the bonus action is. So it's a cool little perk. Again, if you take the main action, you can do that. If you take a harvest action, you cannot do that. Also, if you place a pirate die, you cannot place on any of the bonus actions, you only place on the character. So woe is you. In addition to that, the Corsair die. If you place the Corsair die, it blocks off all of the bonus locations. Now, obviously, if somebody has already taken the bonus available, then it's not retroactive. But going forward for the rest of that round, those special bonuses will be blocked off. That is the difference with the Corsair die versus the regular pirate dice. So that's it for the rolls. And as we take them, I think we'll cover them, because otherwise it's going to be just too much info on the front end. Okay? Any questions about those?
Nope.
All right. The last ones are the pirate citizen and the pirate ship. Basically, they're going to get you more pirates during upkeep. So during phase D, whenever you would pay upkeep for, or get pirates, possibly for paying upkeep for your ships, if you have any ships where the pirate ship is, hey, take an extra pirate. If you have any of your workers in the city where the pirate citizen is, hey, get a pirate per citizen. Pretty easy. In addition to that, we have these 2. The Dark Guild tiles, which you will be able to acquire through that bonus action right there, allows you to use a face-down guild favor that you have in your tableau. So even though these are face down to start and they come to you face down, hey, you could still use them if you have one of that, or if you flip it over as you would in the normal game. Okay? The protection tile gives you protection from 3 things. Anytime that you would take pirates from a pirate die, you can discard this to, I'm not taking any pirates. Or anytime the pirate ship or the pirate citizen would give you pirates, you can discard one of these and say, nope, not today, pirates, I'm not taking any. You get that through that bonus action right there. Essentially, that's all of the bonus stuff that you get in the expansion. Any questions locally?
Nope.
All right, so if y'all are ready, we're ready. Let's get into it, shall we? All right, now there are some rules for setup. As you'll notice that we don't have anybody on the board out there. Why? Because I mentioned that asymmetric start. Well, that's going to come into play when we go through all of these. So that said, we sort of randomized order to begin with. Now, we are going to play with poker chips tonight, and the only reason for that is because they show up a little bit better on screen. So, Andrew is going to be the first player to begin with, so he starts with 0 reals. I take 1. Thank you. Jess gets 2. Lee gets 3 to start. And let me go ahead and fix chat, and then we'll get started.